Well, kia ora everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Craig Young, CEO of TUANZ. Today we're going to give you a briefing on the strategy, the new strategic action plan for the next 2 years that we have released today. Joining me is Zoe Udy, who's our Deputy Chair, and I'll introduce her properly shortly. But first we'll just start with karakia, just a traditional one to get us started. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia makinakina ki uta, kia mataratara ki tai, ihai aki ana te atakura, hi tio, hi huka, hi hohu, tihe Māori ora. So get ready for the westerly, be prepared for the southerly, for those of you in Wellington. It will be icy cold inland and icy cold on the shore. May the dawn rise red-tipped on ice, on snow, on frost. So kia ora and welcome. Great to have you here. Today we're going to take you through a bit of a briefing, as I said. Our agenda today is I'm going to hand over to Zoe shortly. She will take you through the process of how we got to this point. We'll take you through the actions around the board, and given that the board does own the strategy in an organisation like ours. We'll give you an introduction around the vision and purpose, and our strategic themes for the coming 2 years. I will then take you through some of the projects, some of the actions that we'll be undertaking in each of those areas. Then we'll do a Q&A, and then we'll finish up at the end of that. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Zoe.
Kia ora everyone. Thank you very much, Craig. So I probably don't need an introduction to people on the call. I've been on the board of TUANZ since 2019, so around for a while. Stepped into the Deputy Chair role last year. So our work into our 2-year action plan began in the last quarter of last year. We were really looking to refresh our strategy in light of emerging technologies and the changing environment we find ourselves in constantly in the technology space. What we looked at first was our vision and purpose, and I'll take us through those in a second, but we didn't have any substantial changes to our purpose and our vision. TUANZ has gone through a lot of change and update in that space in the previous 2 years when we moved to be the Tech Users Association. So this was largely fit for purpose still. We then looked at our action plan from 2023-2024 as our starting point and worked through with the board what our focus areas for the next 2 years are going to be. We will be looking to manage our strategy and our action plan on a 2-year rolling base going forward. Of course, reacting to any substantial changes that come into our landscape as they come. As we reacted to COVID and during that time significantly changed our action plan and our focus for 2020 and 2021, we will continue to do that if the need arises. Otherwise, what you will see in the next half an hour is our goals for the next 2 years. So Craig, if you could move us forward and I'll go through our purpose and vision. So our purpose is to ensure that all of New Zealand makes the most of the digitally connected world. Again, we have had no update to our purpose, and I think you'll all agree that this is what we live and breathe through all of our actions and activities as TUANZ. Our vision is that all businesses and individuals in Aotearoa have unrestricted access to the technology and services needed to thrive, that no one misses out on the opportunities in technology, and digital engagement is safe and inclusive for all. TUANZ will contribute to this by being a strong independent voice for all users of technology and helping our members prepare to take advantage of this digital future. We have made one update to our vision in this period, and that is that previously we had stated 2033 as a goal to achieving that vision. Through many discussions, we decided that 2033 was probably too far in the future, that we need to ensure these things are happening as soon as possible, that our members and that everyone in Aotearoa is enabled to access the digital world and do so safely a lot sooner than 2033. So there was no meaningful advantage to having a date there stated in our vision. Our pillars that underpin this work are that we will be a strong independent voice for users navigating the digital world that represents our position in the wider New Zealand tech ecosystem and governance ecosystem, and that we will help our member community prepare to take advantage of the opportunities of the digital technology future. So we've focused our action plan for the next 2 years and our strategy that sits above that around 5 themes. And I wanted to take you through those now, and then Craig will talk in a bit more detail around what activities sit where and what our specific goals are for the next 2 years. Our themes start with access and inclusion. So this has always been really key to TUANZ in its previous iteration as the Telecoms Users Association, and now one of our key areas of focus is digital equity and working with a lot of partners in this space in Aotearoa to ensure that it is indeed all of Aotearoa that are able to access the advantages of the digital technology future, as we just stated in our vision. Trust and safety is another key theme. The focus here is around safety online for users and cybersecurity. So we're looking at both keeping New Zealand businesses safe and helping those businesses to keep their customers safe. Our education theme encompasses increasing the digital capability of New Zealanders, that's as individuals, as businesses, and then it encompasses our key programs that we've been running for many years, Flint, the Future Leaders in Tech, and also Next Gen, focusing on leaders up and coming in our industry. Generative AI is its own theme, which may be controversial for some, but probably unexpected given the rapid change that generative AI is bringing to a whole range of technology-enabled businesses and the wider society in general. So this pillar is going to be really key for us, and we want to get our members involved in how we look at generative AI as well, and Craig will talk to that more. Our final theme here is data privacy. Data privacy to us means TUANZ being a champion for responsible data usage. And again, in light of that theme of generative AI, we particularly want to think about data privacy in the context of emerging technologies. This is both how businesses are using people's data and ensuring that security, tying back into trust and safety. So all of these themes have some overlap, and they have a cohesion. That story of being able to use the digital world in a way that is safe and inclusive for all is really important to us, taking over all of our activities. So that was a very broad overview, and please do put any questions as you think of them into our Q&A section, and Craig and I will get to those at the end of this session. But for now, I will hand back to Craig to talk in a little bit more detail how he's going to take this strategy into action. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, Zoe. And I did hear you say how I'm going to take this strategy into action. Thank you. So the way the strategy works is we have a framework. The strategy and the purpose and the vision and the themes are all set by the board. Our goals are set by the board, and then we have these themes, and then I've got to come up with projects, and we have a set of projects that we want to run. I just wanted to, before I move off this slide, the first thing that we need to do is, if you remember back to the last election, we had a number of position statements around our topics and our themes that we're interested in. So we will need to update those based on these 5. We'll need to issue those separately about where we stand on each one of these and what we want to see happen. So that's just a general thing that we need to work on as well. Now, each one of these has a goal for each of our pillars. And I think the easiest way to look at it is, if you think about the pillar on the left-hand side, the strong independent voice, that's our advocacy work. That's us looking outside the association. And the other one, which is we help our member community, that's working with our members. And so any membership association does one or two things. We do two. We do advocacy and we do member services. So that's how you look at the pillars, and each one of those has a goal. And so under access and inclusion, our goal around the independent voice is about advocating for all New Zealanders to have access to that meaningful technology, services and connectivity. So that's about focusing on influencing people, decision makers, who can help close that divide, whether it's socioeconomic, whether it's location, or whether it's lack of skills. So that's working and advocating for that. It's also around about, new developments that happen in areas such as digital identity, other areas, so to ensure that, they're inclusive and they address concerns so that those that might be hesitant to trust technology will take it up. And you'll see, I'll come back to it later, but our Connecting Aotearoa Conference Summit, which is the replacement of the Rural Connectivity Symposium, is very much about this. How can we get 100% of New Zealanders connected? And so internally, when you think about us as a membership, it's working to ensure our community is represented by a membership as representative of the wider population. So this is our Māori and Pacifica work that we're doing. We've got some really exciting projects coming ahead in that space that we'll be announcing to the wider group at the end of the month. It's also, this is where you see all our forums. So our After Fives, our flagship events, our webinars. It's all about helping you as our members understand and become aware of things that maybe you're not quite aware of or want to learn more about as we go through. So that's, obviously this is our DNA from when we were the Telecommunications Users Association. It all fits. If you can't connect, you can't do all the other stuff. And that's why it's first in the plan. It is actually ordered. So this is first because you've got to be connected to actually do anything that comes on. The second one is trust and safety. So you won't connect unless you're actually feeling safe. So in the advocacy space, we'll help keep New Zealanders safe by advocating for the right policy and programs. So this is all around working with partners on scams and spams. So, looking at those that are disproportionately affected. It might be whether you're digitally unsavvy or whether you're of that particular age group that feels unsafe online. Working for platform accountability and content moderation around online harm, and developing an approach to help New Zealanders identify and discern misinformation and engaging responsibly. So these are areas we'll work with others, but certainly we want to advocate. We want to look at what keeps people feeling unsafe and therefore not wanting to connect. And on the right-hand side, we want to help our businesses and customers keep safe by providing practical tools and services. So we'll talk about cybersecurity in our conferences. We're looking at whether we want to have a digital privacy and trust working group, for example, off what we've been doing in AI and just supercharging that. And I think I will say one thing at this point. We keep using the word community now, and what we've shifted in the last 12 months is think about our members as a community and what can we do to help them gather as a community and make changes and learn and impact what's going on in the sector. The education one, this is new. This is a newly formed theme. And so on the external stuff, it's about working with key industry stakeholders to advance mutual objectives. In this space, we want to work with youth to inspire and encourage youth to pursue careers in digital technology. So again, you get these overlaps. So our Māori and Pacifica work, some of the stuff we're doing is very much in how do we engage and encourage young people to take up careers. We obviously want more Māori, Pacifica, ethnic and women in technology. We also want to advocate for, and this is definitely new, for early education on digital literacy and critical thinking in schools. The board is very strong on that and wants to see us move into that sector as well, into that space. I would just add that I'm the only non-educator on the Ministry of Education's review working groups on the technology curriculum in schools. So we're already having an impact in there, and we'll be utilising that connection to bring back to our members as well. And this is also where the Digital Boost Alliance program fits. So we will continue to operate a program that supports digitisation and productivity in small and medium enterprises. We now own the Digital Boost Alliance brand. That trademark has been gifted to us. And so we're working through now, what do we do with that and engage with that program. And so we've already met with Minister Pink, who is the new Minister for Small and Medium Enterprises, and asked him for some money, but also, this is the sort of things that we want to do. And so we're working with people like Microsoft and Google and Spark and the Warehouse Group on what does that actually look like going forward. And then on the right-hand side, it's about the next generation. So it's definitely about Flint. Flint is a key platform for us, key program. We're absolutely committed, and in that program, the board continues to support that. We have a board intern process now, so we'll get a different intern each year, and this year it's Elizabeth Taylor from our Wellington team. She's now the national lead for Flint as well. We really want to grow that, and we want to develop and continue to deliver the next gen program as well. So we've already had discussions with some of our partners about, like AWS, about what can we do to supercharge those programs. Generative AI. So this is the topic is huge. It's just impacting everything. And so I've just been writing over the weekend the section on generative AI for the Digital Priorities Report. So that report, I've interviewed 36 CIOs, CDOs, and one of the questions we asked them, what are your plans for generative AI? And everybody is looking at it, whether it's through experimentation or whether it's looking at their SaaS partners around utilising the AI that's coming through there. But no one is going to be untouched by this, because it will be inside all of their products. The opportunity to use the technology, we use it heavily. We're a Google shop, so no pushing a particular type of benefit, but we pay for Google licenses, so we get Google Gemini with that. And if you haven't tried Notebook LM, then have a crack at that as well. We're using that to write reports, etc., and it's giving us a really great productivity boost. But certainly on the advocacy side, we want to encourage uptake of responsible and inclusive use. So making sure decision makers are looking at clear policies, advocating for models that are fair, unbiased, and used ethically, and then working with partners to drive responsible AI adoption. So we are clear, we're pro the use of the technology. We just want to make sure the guardrails and it's responsible in its use. And on the internal side, it's obviously working with our members to help them understand, help get them involved. We've got webinars that we've already done. We'll be doing more of those, and working with our working parties to deliver more resources for our members, particularly those that don't have the capability inside their own shop to do those things. And the last one is, again, the board is very strong on this, is data privacy. We want to champion for the responsible data usage. The growth of cloud computing in New Zealand. So we're very much getting involved in some of that technology and being able to share with people and provide governance over some of those things. So, how can we help individuals understand how their data is being used and have them clearly informed so they understand what's being used for it? How do you keep yourself safe? But also, for example, I'm not saying, my face, my voice, etc., because of my role as the CEO is obviously already on the internet. So I just need to understand what that means for me. And then also, advocacy around ensuring that people, those that are using our data, are using it responsibly. So those are our 5 themes. The sorts of projects that we're going to be doing, sorts of things that we're going to be coming to you about and asking you to help us. But then we do have one last one, which is not a theme, and it's not something that we'll talk necessarily at an advocacy level or outside of the organisation. So as members, these are the sorts of things that you need to be aware that we have to do to keep ourselves going. So it's ensuring our future, positioning ourselves. So things like developing a website strategy that fits that and is focused on end users, ensuring, as Zoe talked about, ensuring we're a model of best practice data privacy. We're looking to develop a marketing and communications plan that will ensure that people receive valuable, interesting, accessible and timely engagement. We're looking at ensuring we work with key stakeholders around mutual objectives. We'll always participate in Government and Commerce Commission work streams. So our commitment is that we are the only independent user association. We have to be the voice in those work streams, so we commit to doing those. Some simple things like we've got to look at diversifying our revenue. So that's a standard thing for associations. It's not an easy space to be in at the moment. When our accounts come out at the end of the year, you'll see how tough it's been over the last year. I don't expect that to change over the next 12 months. So, you know, we need to be very clear about where we put our effort and where we spend the resources that you as members and partners provide to us. But, you know, are there other things and services that we can be doing to bring in some, because as a not-for-profit, we can only spend what we have, we can't borrow. So we need to make sure that we're resourcing up what we can do. And then the last thing we have to do in this space that will come to you this year, we need to implement a revised constitution. Every association has to re-register under the 2022 Incorporated Societies Act that is replacing the 1908 one. And so we have to re-register and we have to make changes to our constitution to ensure that it's fit for purpose. So those are the things that we have to do and what we plan to do to actually activate that strategic plan. So I'll hand back to Zoe now, and she's going to take any questions if there are any. I don't see any at the moment, Zoe, but
I don't see any either. So unfortunately, we don't have the elevator music to play, but if anyone does have questions, if you could pop them in as soon as possible, because otherwise we might give everyone some time back.
it's obviously incredibly straightforward.
Yeah. Which was the
Cool.
goal, I think.
Yes.
Just to jump off from that point, the idea behind the themes and tying the actions to themes really strongly is to make this easier for the board, Craig and his operations team, and members and partners to understand really how all of our work weaves together.
Cool. So we move on.
Yeah. Back to you, Craig. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I just want to close by saying thank you to everybody for your continued support and engagement with an association that is yours. TUANZ is its members. The board is elected by you. I'm simply the paid employee, the CEO. You can replace me and the association will continue on. I think we've got a really exciting year ahead of us. I think with our new strategic action plan, we've got some really clear goals and things that we want to achieve that will need a lot of engagement with our members to help us actually achieve that. I just did want to let you know and remind you that we are doing in-person events this year. We have our first After 5 in Auckland coming up in March. Well, it is March. It's March today. In 2 weeks' time at Google. Looks to be filling up pretty quick, actually. We are also doing something in March with the Ministry for Women, which will be coming out to Aucklanders shortly. Wellingtonians would have got their invite last week. And we'll be doing something in Wellington at the end of April as well. I did want to remind you that the Connecting Aotearoa Summit is open. It is Wednesday, the 21st of May at Claudelands Event Centre. It is the Re-Scoped Rural Connectivity Symposium. The Minister for Communications, Media and Communications will be speaking, and we're hoping to get a few more politicians along as well. But it's really shaping up to be a really great event, and one that's really worthwhile. And it's in Hamilton. It's an hour and a half drive from Auckland. Get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and you'll be in Hamilton in time for coffee and be ready for the day without having to stay overnight if you don't want to. So on that note, I'll say thanks very much. Zoe, do you want to say thank you as well?
Yeah, just thank you to everyone who took the time to come on a lunch break and hear from us in real time. And this will be going up on the TUANZ YouTube as well. So if you have any colleagues or other members that you know of who might want to hear this explanation, please point them towards that. Otherwise, of course, Craig's newsletters will be providing you with updates throughout the year. And please do feel free to reach out to us with any questions that do come up or feedback on our themes or strategy. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Ka kite anō.